In today's video, I want to share with you my opinion on fixative with charcoal and mixed media marks. By all means, this is just my opinion, and there's many different options that you have. There's no right or wrong, you just need to figure out which one works for you. This one works for me, and this is the one that I choose to do. Also, the fixative that I use is non-toxic and can be used indoors, so it's easy to do your project and spray it and continue on. The benefits of using a fixative is that it prevents smudging, and it allows you to work in layers, and it protects your artwork over time. The drawbacks are some fixatives can alter colors and may change the surface texture. I can tell you, and I'll show you at the end, 3 or 4 paintings that I did where 3 of them I used fixative and 1 I did not. So let's get started and see what we got. So today I'm going to show you 3 examples. I cut out some watercolor paper and some squares, and I'm getting some willow charcoal and rubbing it on this square here. And I'm going to take a foam makeup sponge and blend this willow charcoal out. And I will show you that when you rub your finger across it, you have charcoal on your hand. Baby wipes are your best friend with charcoal. I'm going to spray it with the fixative that I use, and I'll have the link below on this. It's non-toxic. You can use it in your house. The main thing you want to do is you want to spray your piece vertically. And I've had this for over 1.5 years, and I've hardly used any. You can see that it's wet. It does change the color minimally compared to some others that I've used. And you let this dry about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, if you use multiple, or if you need multiple layers, spray a thin layer, let it dry couple of minutes, and then you can spray a second layer. You'll see I do this here in a little bit. But thin layers are your friend, and hold it about 18 inches from your drawing, and then spray it, let it dry, and then you can continue on. So here I did a quick sketch with willow charcoal on the base with a soft charcoal pencil, blender, kneaded eraser, and electronic eraser, and did a quick sketch just to show you a typical charcoal drawing. And there's nothing on here, and as you can see, when I touch across it, charcoal definitely comes off. There's several layers. So what you want to do is spray, just like before, a very thin layer, and as you can see, it makes soft edges around this, which I actually like. Some people may not. Your only option, if you do not like this, is to frame it with glass, with a mat to keep it away from the glass, and not spray it with anything. That would be your only other option, in my opinion. So I've done these 2, and then I'm going to use some mark making tools to show you what that looks like. This could be a number 2 pencil. It could be a charcoal pencil. Anything that you use in your mark making that would typically smear once you varnish your piece. And that's a whole other story about varnishing, but I myself do varnish for UV protection and longevity of the paintings that I sell. So I'm just taking 3 different pencils that I have, mark making tools, excuse me, and putting them on here. Now this is watercolor paper, and as you're going to tell here in a minute when I spray it, this pencil here does smear. I actually liked it. It wouldn't be bad in a painting, mixed media painting. But like I said, typically you would not be doing mark making on watercolor paper on the watercolor base layer. You would have some kind of acrylic paint, gesso, and that makes all the difference in the world. I'm just giving you some examples here. So as you can tell, all three smear, and that's very typical. And you can see here when I spray it, it did run just a little bit, gave me a few soft edges. I would be okay with that. Some people would not. So you've got to find what works for you, what you're happy with. So all three of these are going to dry, and then we're going to test them and see if anything comes off after they dry. Now, why do you want to do that? Because if you're not going to frame it, you want it varnished. And if you're going to varnish it, once you bring that varnish on and it smears, there's not much you can do. So here, nothing comes off. This was the willow charcoal. This was layers of charcoal, very thick, like a regular drawing. And you'll see it still comes off a little bit. Lightly, but a little bit. Now you can rework this fixative, and you could do another layer, add fixative, and keep going that route. But I'm going to spray it for a second time, light layer, to show you that you can do it again. It's not going to change anything. You can even work this drawing some more, add fixative again. There's no set number of times you can spray fixative, but just light layers, let it dry, put another layer if you need it. So all three of these are dry, and I want to check this one here that I put the second layer on, and we have nothing. So that's good. So typically what I do in my mixed media pieces is I let it dry, test it, spray it again if I need it, and then I put 2 coats of varnish on. So it depends on how you use these mediums with your art as to how you use them. The only thing I can say is the fixative that I use, the reason I like it is because you can use it indoors, it's non-toxic, and it's easy to use, and it doesn't have a smell. So this is a mixed media piece I did on Bristol paper with gesso, acrylics, and mark making, and I used the fixative, and then I put 2 coats of Liquitex varnish on because I did not frame it. I actually sold them as ACO cards, so that's one option that I did there. I wanted to show you a couple of more. This next one, I actually did charcoal on canvas, my first time trying that. That was quite unusual. I did like it. I did it on a 6x6 cradled canvas, and I did the charcoal just like I always do, and then I sprayed it with fixative. Here it is here. I sprayed it with fixative, and then I sprayed an isolation coat on it, and then put 1 coat of Gamvar varnish on it, and it turned out exquisite. You can see the shining of the light. It actually looks like diamonds in the canvas. It's really cool. It did not smear at all. The fixative on the canvas worked perfectly. This next piece is a 30 by 40 mixed media piece I did that has gesso, acrylic, mark making, and I sprayed it with fixative. All my mark making would have smeared otherwise. And then I put 1 coat of Gamvar varnish on it. And then lastly, I did a pop-up art presentation in Louisville last year, and I did a charcoal drawing, and I did it on Bristol paper, and I actually ended up not spraying it with fixative and framing it behind plexiglass with a mat and presented it that way. So you have options, and there's no right or wrong. Just find the one that works for you. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I have a few information descriptions below that you can read on the pros and cons of using fixative and not using fixative that hopefully will benefit you. Thank you and have a great day. See you next time.